Well, judging from the carving on your desk, it looks like his name is Ozzy.
Yes, and apparently he rules. All right, everybody.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
So, because the Sweeney bullshit has inspired me, I want to walk through some of this stuff. It's going to be about how women feel the need to be beautiful and how their own kind are tearing them down. The Hollywood casting couch and the women who lived through the era and basically came out the other side, you know. So Sweeney, of course, she had the good genes, both ways, double entendre, caused a stir with the blue-haired land whale community and the angry feminazis who have lost any instinct to try to be beautiful, right? What these women have forgotten is that back in the day, in the 1980s, Cindy Crawford did an ad for Diet Pepsi. And weirdly, we teenage girls, wanted to look like her. So instead of attacking her and calling her a racist and all the rest of that fucking shit, which these women don't know what a racist is. They're the ones with the problems, not Sydney. It was a goal to be obtained, right? Now let's go look at another thing. This was even more risque. Brooke Shields, Calvin Klein jean ads, either on TV or in print. She was 15 years old when she did this. And no one cared. Again, you didn't feel bad about yourself if you figured, hey, maybe if I did this, and this with my hair, I could look like that. And it's empowering. Every time a woman walks out the door, well-dressed, good shoes, makeup's perfect, hair's perfect, feeling beautiful, she is 20 million times more powerful a human being because that's where her strength is. That's what she is. And to be told by these ugly fat women that you're merely an object and you should try to look as ugly as possible is bullshit because it goes against your instincts, right? No one said that to Marlene Dietrich. No one said that to Joan Crawford, or think about it. But let's talk about the women who were vulnerable. Casting couch, Marilyn Monroe. She wanted to be an actress, so while her husband was off fighting World War II, she got involved and with a photographer who took advantage of her, and she was just vulnerable enough to let it happen because she thought it was going to help her career. Now, I'm going to explain something very clearly here. She didn't get a lot of parts, even if she did sleep with the head of the studio, right? Harvey Weinstein is a perfect example of telling some girl, if you on me and perform on me, I will get you this part. And then he never did it, right? That's the casting couch. And Marilyn went through the misery of that without knowing how to be with this, without knowing how to deal with these people, right? She wasn't emotionally strong enough to say no. She wasn't emotionally strong enough to put her foot down, right? And like so many of Harvey Weinstein's victims, right? But the thing about it is, when all that came out about him, they acted like they were wounded deer. Like, this all-powerful bullshit. There are plenty of women who have gone through Hollywood without falling prey to that shit. And the whole victimhood mentality is another thing that is driving women down. The whole, I don't need no man, I'm a victim of the patriarchy, and add this garbage going on with Me Too. It's like, all you had to do was say no. Did you really need that part? And I'm going to say this. They do that, if they're gay, they do that to men too. But let's talk about women, or a woman who got through Hollywood and was successful. This is Dawn Steele. Now, this lady's biography is pretty interesting. She was born in the Bronx to a Jewish family, lots of financial issues, and I'm not going to get into the deets of her parents and what they did for a living. Let's just say she had to drop out of Boston University because of financial constraints, and she did several jobs. One was as a sports editor and marketing doing sports statistics, and she ended up working for Penthouse Magazine, of all things, in the marketing thing. And in fact, she ended up marketing a phallic-looking amaryllis. Okay. Me looking at her going, what the fuck? And she ended up starting her own marketing company called Oh Dawn, which showcased Gucci branded toilet paper. And the House of Gucci, of course, sued her, and the case was settled out of court. But this got her the attention of Hollywood. In 1978, she moved out to Los Angeles and took over as a director of marketing for Paramount Pictures, where she caught the attention of Barry Diller and Michael Eisner. Dawn came up with innovative marketing campaigns for Star Trek the Motion Picture, tie-ins with Coca-Cola, etc. And this is kind of interesting to me because this is where product placement, I think, ends up in movies. Like, you're looking at a movie, and in the foreground you see a Diet Coke can, right? Or something else. And marketing for franchise pictures is a big business. And when I look at her as one of the pioneers, along with George Lucas in that, and Steven Spielberg. So they had a chick, on that thing too. And in 1980, she became vice president of production. In 1983, she became senior vice president of production. In 1985, she took over for Sherry Lansing as the second woman to hold that spot. At Paramount, as president of production, she oversaw Flashdance, Top Gun, The Accused, and Fatal Attraction. And 1987 saw a change of fortunes because she got fired. She was pregnant with her child, her daughter, and she got fired. She ended up going to Columbia Pictures as the head of the studio, and she was there till 1990. I guarantee you she saw a lot of men make passes at her throughout her career till she got to the big time. And I'm sure that, they tried their best, and yet she walked it off. I mean, there are women in Hollywood who can get past it and not say anything. They were able to survive in this horrible patriarchal industry called the film industry. Let's talk more. Because the bullshit of patriarchy crashes, the whole theory that these women have now crashes at the feet of Dawn Steele.
What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Is the glue to all 5 of these films that gave us all of our rhythm and all of our melody, the great maestro, John Williams.
You know, there's always going to be people when you make something that's somewhat controversial that are just flat out not going to like what you're doing. Right. And we didn't make the movie for them.
I love democracy. I love the Republic.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them, and that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
So we have this example of a girl coming literally from way outside the film industry, basically marketing for a smut rag called Penthouse, coming up with their own marketing company, getting the attention of the House of Gucci, having to settle a lawsuit, going to Paramount Pictures, and going from marketing executive who came up with all kinds of innovative ways of marketing a film through products like Coke and Pepsi and all the rest of that, to being a vice president of production, to senior vice president of production, to president of production. Obviously, Paramount Studios had no problem giving women their due because she took over for Sherry Lansing. And Dawn Steele, again, pioneer, yes. Yeah, but there were women that came before her and she knew it. I mean, it's not like she ended up in Hollywood before or after Lucille Ball died. And when I do a video on her, you're going to learn a lot. She made something of herself on her own without patronage of Steven Spielberg, of John Milius, of George Lucas. She made something of herself. She is contemporaries with women who complain about men all the time. And it's really weird. If it's a boys' club, you learn to survive. And if you can't survive, you quit. You go find something else to do. If you can't deal with it being a boys' club, right? I mean, that's my opinion. Okay, if you can't survive the boys' club, then don't do it. And you don't complain. And if you can do it without patronage, you know, that's a pretty hard-ass woman. And there are a lot of women out there that have done that without the patronage, without powerful protectors. And that's the one thing that galls me to no end about, you know who I'm talking about, Kathleen Kennedy. Because there were women that came before her that had nobody protecting them, and they were highly successful. I mean, Dawn Steele, Fatal Attraction, Top Gun, need I say more? Two of the most epic, successful movies ever made. Compare her resume to Kennedy's. And Dawn Steele did that on her, basically on her own. More to come. This is Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.